Good morning, Junior 3. Please open your books on page 11. A new year. Rashad was excited to start a new school year. The first week, he met his neighbor, Zaina, and they became friends. Rashad and Zaina spent lots of time together talking about building things. They had a lot in common. They were excited to start on a new class project. The class was going to write and perform a play about being healthy. Each group will get to write a script. The teacher announced, first, decide on each person's role for the project. Then you will need to agree on the story. Rashad and Zaina felt lucky that they got to be in the same group. Their group began picking roles for the project. Rashad loves building things, so he picked the role of creating the props. Zaina also liked to make things, so she decided to make the costumes. The other group member took the roles of scriptwriter and schedule keeper. Then it was time to start planning the story. Rashad had a good idea. He said, I think we should tell a story about how fast Egyptian Arabian horses are. Zaina laughed at Rashad's idea. She said, that's a terrible idea. It has nothing to do with being healthy. I think the best story to tell is about Sakr Ahmed. She was the first Egyptian woman to win an Olympic medal. Rashad was surprised that his friend didn't like his idea. His feelings were hurt. He said, I do not like your idea either. If we don't use my idea, I don't want to be in this group. He folded his arms and pouted. Now, let's review the new vocabulary in this page together. Our first vocab, neighbor. Neighbor is called on the person who lives near to someone else. Let's move to the next vocab, a lot in common. A lot in common means sharing the same interests, beliefs, attitudes, and opinions. Next, perform. Perform is to do an action or an activity that usually requires training or skills. The coming vocab is script. Script is the written text of a play, film, or broadcast. Next, announced. Announcement means tell people something clearly and loudly. Next, role. Role means the function or responsibility for every person sharing in the project. The next vocab is props. Props means things we use as a support or base for the project. So here, we mean by props materials that are used in our project. The coming vocab is costumes. Costumes are the clothes that are worn by someone, such as an actor, who is trying to look like different person or thing or an animal. Next, scriptwriter. Scriptwriter, the person who is responsible for writing the text of play, film, or broadcast. The following vocab is schedule keeper. Schedule keeper, the person who will arrange, control, and prepare things to be done in a certain time. Next vocab is he folds his arms and pouted, which means facial expression shows annoyance or displeasure. Now please turn the page on page 12. What would you do? Here, match the solution you are most likely to use with each scenario. There may be more than one correct answer, but before we start, let's read all the available solutions that we have. A. Ask your friend to stop. B. Get help from an adult you trust. C. Walk away and find other friends to be with. D. Be a friend, listen, support, and speak up. E. Say nothing and walk away. F. Ask for an apology. Now let's read all the scenarios together to find the most correct action for each. Number 1. Your friend makes fun of someone in the class. Here, in this situation, I will choose ask your friend to stop and ask for an apology. Number 2. Your friend pressures you to do something you do not want to do. In this situation, I will choose get help from an adult you trust. Number 3. Your friend doesn't listen to your ideas. Here, I will choose walk away and find other friends to be with. Number 4. Your friend tells your secret to other people in class. Here, I will choose ask for an apology. Number 5. Your friend spreads a rumor about someone in class. I will choose ask your friend to stop. Now let's move to the next page, page 13. Asking for help. Let's read the story together. That night, Rashad was eating dinner with his parents and younger sister Yasmin. You wouldn't believe what Zaina did, Rashad said. I thought we should tell a story about how fast Egyptian Arabian horses are, but Zaina laughed at me. The other kids in our group had different ideas too. She didn't like any of them. I don't know what to do, Rashad cried. Zaina is my friend, but now it feels like we don't even like each other, all because we cannot agree about what story to tell for the play. Rashad's parents were glad to see him excited about the play. They were also worried about how he worked with others. Rashad's mom said, I think it would be best for you to learn more about your friend's idea. You might change your mind. Yes, that's a great idea, his dad said. Why don't you ask everyone in the group to explain why they think their idea is best? Then you can take a group vote. Yasmin had been listening to the conversation. I don't think that idea will work. Zaina will still be mad at you. Just forget your idea and use her idea instead. Then Zaina will be happy and you can play with your friend again. As Rashad helped clean up after dinner, he thought about his parents' and sister's advice. Now let's find the meaning of the new vocab in this page. Our first vocab is the word glad. Glad means feel happy. Next vocab is conversation. Conversation means a talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. Turn the page on page 14. Making a decision. The next day at school, Rashad presented his solution to the group. I think we should share our ideas and explain why we think our idea is best. Then we can take a group vote. Zaina said, that sounds like a great idea. Each student in the group took turns presenting their ideas. After everyone had shared, Rashad took a survey. He first made a table to collect the data. The first column listed all of the story ideas for the play. The second column was empty, so he could add tally marks for every vote he collected. Each person in the group wrote their vote on a paper square. He collected the paper squares and tallied the votes on the data table. There were two story ideas that got the most votes: Zaina's ideas and Rashad's ideas. At first, Rashad was disappointed that his idea didn't get the most votes. Well, said Zaina, horses can be athletes too. Let's write a story using both of our ideas. Rashad was so happy that they could come to an agreement after all. This play was going to be great now. that they were working so well together. The group got right to work on their script. After reading story, it's time now to know more about the meanings of the new vocab. Let's start with our first vocab, group vote. Group vote means formal expression of opinion or choice, either positive or negative, made by group of people. Next, survey. Survey is method used to collect data from sample of people based on series of questions to gather informations. The coming vocab is tally marks. Tally marks are a way of keeping count by drawing marks. Every fifth mark is drawn across the previous 4 marks, so you can easily see group of 5. Next vocab is tallied. Tallied means calculating the total number or amount. Next, disappointed. Disappointed means feeling sad or unhappy because something was not as good as expected, or something you hoped for didn't happen.